disgrace. Definitely.
Literally making something out of nothing. Thin air, you feel me? I'm glad to be in that position.
John Jones, I went to heavyweight on these featherweights, but I ain't backing down, I'ma take the weight up another plate. Leave nothing but crumbs, that's how you eat, let me demonstrate. Decade in the game, I ain't lost a step, I just up the pace. Watch them up the pay, I put in the reps and pick up the chase. Then it up the balance, but we ain't even no miles away. It ain't just a talent, I took the challenge and walked the craze. Fell a couple times, but I got back up with some see higher up, that's too much for the speakers, but ain't much for the thinkers. Clouded, I rush to the lower end to see what's in the deeper. Found a message to send itself with much younger and eager. Keep your youth and maintain your health, cause the future is trouble. But you made for the struggle, and you born with the hustle. Any imagery less than greatness, erase it and double down on your first mind. I come from the worst kind, made life before I found shine. With the stars, I'm clear as I ever been. This feeling won't never end. They watching, I notice, but it ain't knocking the focus. I'm highest and hottest, but I still be I'm a champion, I'm a win, I know. I'm a grind for mine, they can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion, I'm a win. That it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. Life been so crazy, I can't do nothing but look high. This is just like I prayed, but ain't like I thought. I'm my way and sitting in my zone while they plotting out my grave. I'm plotting my next stop out state, getting that pay. I kept it true, I can't say how they played. I'm just gonna state what I knew and thank God. Build up took time, but wiped up the stains. I'm mic'd up is live, tap in, let's get gains. It ain't no more would did or should did. I got too much right now to brain. That's all I know and all I live for. All trying to stop my show. The tour 10 years ain't stopping till it's round the world and back again and back again and back again and back.
Into place. Every step walking with grace, amen. Keeping my foot off the brakes. Impact, I'm ready to brace. We fall down and land on our face. Just to get up and finally escape. Wait, boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in a grave. They live through the story they made, okay? Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying bags covered the way I paved, zipped up like a bathing ape. How many of us then came and stayed? Not too many, I've been staying awake to get it and get right on every mistake. I give them a bite, they taking a plate. It's all been a feeling that I couldn't shake. So I just keep killing till I'm at the gates. We straight, we treat them like worms in a lake. They bake, just give me a drum and a bass. I skate and grind till I'm numb in the face, okay? Don't fuck up my day. Cut to the chase. Everyone give me some space. Don't fall out, we fall into place. Every step walking with grace, amen. Keeping my foot off the brakes. Impact, I'm ready to brace. We fall down and land on our face. Just to get up and finally escape. Wait. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in a grave. They die in a grave. Legends don't die anyways. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in a grave. Legends don't die anywhere.
Built a legacy that defined generations. But history only remembers those who survive what comes next.
That's some resistance. Okay, maybe you can. Eating my words.
Faster.
It's bullets.
More brutal. Unforgiving. Season 20 is here. Write your name in gold.
All right, well, Paladin, it's been 6 days of a lot of Counter-Strike for these North American teams, and it's all come down to this. NRG and Voca in the grand finals to determine who makes the main event and who walks away with nothing.
So many storylines going into this matchup. I mean, so many improvements and developments going on with both of these squads across this tournament, and they've kind of all had to figure it out on the fly. They haven't had really time to practice or figure things out in scrims per se. Maybe they have, but in the server, that's where they gained the most experience. And I feel like both NRG and Voca have come a long way, and I feel like we're going to see the best versions of themselves in this final matchup of this qualifier.
And I think what's most curious to me is how the veto is going to be handled once we get there. But let's check out the bracket first and see, well, everything we've gotten up to this point over these 6 days. And yeah, we had 8 teams at the beginning. We were down to the final 3 today, and NRG got their 2-0 against Sportsbet Expert. Only their second 2-0 in 4 matches that they've played. They had a reverse sweep, of course, against them yesterday when they were playing Voca, and today they are trying to make amends.
They certainly are. And we can start talking about the rosters of what we've got for ourselves in this grand final, and we'll talk about Voca because we haven't seen them today, and honestly, I wasn't expecting this team to make it this far. I was expecting maybe an upset to happen along the way, some sort of mental collapse, but they found every way to make Carson work as a caller and an aggressive rifler. They've worked Dare into this lineup pretty well as this kind of like X factor player, and as far as along the way, some sort of mental collapse, but they found every way to make Carson work as a caller and an aggressive rifler. They've worked Dare into this lineup pretty well as this kind of like X factor player, and as far as NRG are concerned, I feel like they've also worked very hard in integrating their new pieces of both George and Halzer, who I still think has a couple more gears left in the tank.
No, I do agree. And at the same time, I actually did expect Voca to make it here, Paladin. And I felt like they had what it took, you know, in terms of the skill, in terms of the experience they've gotten over the last few months to be competitive again. And it looks like NRG are going to choose Cash immediately, which is not a surprise based on what we've seen from their Cash lately. So that could be a very fantastic start for them again. But Inferno was banned by Voca, and they pick into Ancient again. They felt very confident with the way they performed yesterday on Ancient and the fact that NRG couldn't keep up with them. So that is not a surprise either. What will be our map 3 though?
I think it's got to be Nuke if I'm NRG,
Whoa.
but they'll go into Dust 2 instead, which is very interesting. I mean, I did feel like there were some significant issues for Voca on that map of Nuke, and NRG showed improvements. I mean, their defense looked a little bit better. Sure, you're given a little bit of tape for Voca to study, and perhaps this is NRG's turn to say, okay, let's us throw a curveball and see why you guys didn't want to opt in for Dust 2 in both of these series. Let's see if we can kind of bottle in that same kind of confidence that we've had on that map in previous iterations.
It's interesting to see Voca move away from picking Nuke though, because they picked it yesterday. You're like, oh, they're going to try again and try to get that win once more, which 30-5, really convincing, but they don't. And so instead going to Ancient, which was map 3 yesterday, and then we get a new map 3 in Dust 2. I think we're going to see an awesome series. It very likely could end up in 3 maps. I kind of hope it does, because I want to see these two teams face off on Dust 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited. I mean, I'm going to take NRG, honestly, John. I don't know which way you're leaning. For me, I feel like they've charged up enough through that lower final. They're warmed into this series. I think that Voca really have to rely upon getting a hot start here to feel comfortable. And I don't necessarily know if they're going to get that space in this kind of best of 3 when NRG kind of took care of business earlier on against SBE.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with NRG as well. I think this veto is a lot more favorable for them than it was in yesterday's matchup. Going on to Cash, we know they're strong there. I feel like that's not necessarily a gimme, but almost certainly going to go the way of NRG unless Voca can really come through and find a lot of rounds very quickly at the beginning of the map. Then we go on to Ancient. I feel like we already talked about it earlier. NRG's ceiling is way, way higher than what we saw yesterday on that map. So they've got a chance to really come through and show what they're capable of. However, it could still fall the way of Voca. And then Dust 2. Dust 2 for me is very much about mechanical skill. I think for anyone who's watched Counter-Strike for some time. And NRG are the top team right now in terms of skill level in that regard. So regardless of how good Voca can be there, I think NRG take this no matter what.
We'll see if our predictions come true as we begin our grand final here at StarLadder StarSeries 2026 Fall North American Closed Qualifier, as NRG have to start themselves on this T side. Again, unfavorable side start, but they have looked good. Not too long ago. He hit the flash, it's sublime, it blinds up 2. Alzerk finds his men, finds his mark, and NRG will get themselves a 5-on-3 post plan.
Yeah, it might just be a save here for Voca to force up in the next, because you got a couple of players on body armor. 2 pieces of util for Snav. There's really no path back into this bomb site, and you see that Junior and Snav are rotating around into mid, but I feel like it's just to try and find exits and stay alive. And that is indeed the case. So, NRG once more off on the right foot here on their pick on Cash.
Try their hand here, Voca, to get a couple on the way out. They do take out Nitro. But Junior will hit the deck eventually. These last 2 players have been spotted out. They will both be allowed to save. And we'll likely see, or at least we have the potential for a force buy in round number 2, considering those 2 vests were saved. Or actually, just 1 vest. Snav was opting in for utility there. But NRG start the right way. They keep it simple. And they have a very well-placed flashbang to kind of turn our heads there.
Yeah, that flashbang was gorgeous. Couldn't have been better. I think that was pretty much the exact same pistol round they had against SBE. Very well done on the flash. Both times we've seen it. And now Voca will not be forcing up. They are just onto a full USP eco. NRG poking and prodding, trying to see where Voca might be. In fact, Voca are going to take the initiative into mid now from highway. Halzerk spots it out. Might stick around a little bit longer. He does. He eventually gets finished off by Dare, but there's so many bodies here, you can't imagine that Voca are going to be successful, and they will not be. Grim finds the last 2, and immediately 2-0 for NRG.
Fast, quick, and to the point here are NRG, getting themselves that second round. But Here's where things get serious. NRG go up against that Voca buy, and this is the second day that I'm seeing Junior in a Furia jersey. I find it very funny, and that's all I have to say about that. Not really anything much to add.
Okay, fair. I don't know. It's interesting.
Those jerseys were nice. The blue and black ones.
They were, yeah. And it signifies, you know, his first step up to Tier 1 in his career. I think it was an important milestone for him. And I understand that he'd want to remember that. Something else you're going to want to remember, folks, is that Lorgar is the official sponsor of the computers you'll have at StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026 in the main event. Well, not that you'll have, but the players will, and they'll enjoy top-notch FPS as a result. Thanks again to Lorgar.
NRG scoping out that Junior does have that AWP, can slow this default up a little bit. Now mid control being established, boost up to help out Sonic. But they get out pretty safely. They can call off that boost. Minutes still left on the clock as more space being taken here by Nitro's crew, and it's Snav's turn to get involved. Very aggressive here. Stuck in A main. He's got to fight his way out, and lucky to get 2. 3 on 4 now as NRG look to turn the key on this A site. Junior now caught between so many boxes and still manages to live. Ulzerk now has to do it all on his own as Sonic is very far away. And as soon as he gets there, he's a dead man walking. So Voca do get themselves their first round.
It's actually a really good setup on the defense from Voca. They didn't allow NRG to really swing around and have their way with them, especially Halzerk at the end. You see him trying to tap away on the corner, but Junior swings around from Fork and gets the instant op shot and doesn't allow Halzerk to do any further damage. So, good for Voca to find a first early. Yesterday, they only found one. So they've already matched that effort. I mean, you know, it's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Weird purchase here. Hero Galil for Grim. Without taking significant damage. It's a bomb plant and 2 kills. Not the worst thing in the world here for NRG. But Voca equalize, and we've got a little bit more of a game on our hands here with this reintroduction of cash.
Yeah, honestly, it's... I know, like, I convincingly took NRG as the winner of this, but there is one condition that I have to mention here, is that if Voca win cash, that will disrupt NRG's flow entirely. And then things become more 50-50 for sure. We'll see if Voca can find an answer today. If you think you have the answer, well, you can go and make your prediction on stake. And you can get a nice weekly reload of $35. In order to get that, just deposit $20. Activate your weekly $35 reload with code STAR35. You'll enjoy a daily $5 top for the next 7 days. Again, at stake. Sonic gets one, traded out immediately by Dare. And now Snav's going to get flashed out as NRG look to take full mid-control. Grim slides around, and George will support him to finish off Dare. And then Nitro finds Junior. NRG looking great once the guns come out. And George even finds one on to Snav. Marky, last one available, but NRG have control of pretty much the whole map.
Yeah, there's no way you really read this off angle from Nitro. Sure, Marky finds one. Oh, Nitro actually decides to fall below. Drops the incendiary and nade combo. Nitro will get softened up, but there's just plenty of players here to watch the crossfire. He's read the flank, actually, and he's seen him. He can't find the kill. NRG do have an expensive round win there, but they win out that all-out mid-brawl, and it shows that they're just mechanically sharp right now. The chemistry is flowing. The trading is looking efficient. This is not the NRG we saw in the first time these two teams played one another.
Yep. Nice effort from Marky at the very least to try and bring it back, but I think you're right. NRG looking really, really sharp. Voca in this round will be forcing up an op, 2 M4s, and an MP9 along with a 5.7 brought forward. Oh man, what a shot from Grim! immediately, and then Nitro follows it up on snap from A main. They're just striking from every angle and not giving Voca a chance to really read and react here. And while Junior will hit that shot, there's more NRG players about to push in his direction. And they've got the flashes, the Molotovs, the smokes to really disrupt. They know his position, but Junior still hits that on Nitro despite it all. This would be bad news for NRG if Junior finds his rhythm in this grand final. But he will eventually be put down by Halzerk. He's done enough to at least make it possible for Voca to strike back fourth in this round, but it's not going to be easy for Marky and Carson. Marky coming from Highway, and he's already, Carson coming from Highway, and he's already gone. Marky will probably just be on a mission to save now.
Yeah, that angle is actually pretty tough to see. If we turned off X-ray, I don't think you would really see that head popping up from Catwalk, so
yeah,
tough situation there for Carson. Elevating himself past through Highway. And now Marky, as he previously mentioned, looking to save. Does spot out that AWP and scoops up an AK. So let's get out with something at the very least. He is getting chased down from A main. Flash for himself to salt things out. I mean, I'd guess so. There's no way he wouldn't be considering this spot as a possible save if he did die.
Because the HP bar shows you.
Right.
Well, he might die here, and he's still... Oh, no! Oh, no! Marky gets the kill in Sonic at the very last second, or even half
no way
second.
He wouldn't be considering this spot as a possible save if
so no...
he did die.
Because the HP bar shows you.
Right.
Well, he might die here, and he's still... Oh, no! Oh, no! Marky gets the kill in Sonic at the very last second, or even half second. Does finish him off, so no gun saved over.
Nada indeed. Voca now look to save. NRG getting into a bit of a rhythm here. They figured out that B bomb site in the early goings. Now they figured out how to slowly squeeze that A bomb site. And beyond Junior, those side anchors are not able to find much success. And NRG, because of that, are taking things slowly and utilizing that to their advantage. And start to rack around here where some damage, sitting very far back. Should still be a pretty easy round to recover. Oh, that quad molly misses, but there luckily is a second one. That tick has been heard. You'd like to think they haven't cleared Junior at all. And with that, Junior still has a chance of making some damage in this round. It's getting a little ugly. Players are getting swarmed from every which way, and Junior does get another dink in the nick of time. Dare now has that scooped up A4, has brought it into a 2-on-2. You still have Snav slowly making his way back to door, but that feels like it should be done with. Snav still has to open this door, and at this point should have this underlocking key. Oh my goodness, no! Halzerk goes down, Sonic at 25 HP, but NRG still get by the skin of their teeth.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That was very close. Closer than it should have been. And I think what happened there is they figured, because the molly was thrown for quad, that no one was there. But it was a little bit off. There was some space to survive on the other side of it, and Junior just takes advantage of that, bides his time. They're not even looking, because they expect that to be cleared already. And he makes it way more interesting. But still going to be an NRG round. You guys want a chance to win a nice ATK gear mouse? Well, scroll down in the description of the stream, click on the ATK banner, and enter a giveaway for 8 mice. 8 winners will walk away with a beautiful mouse at the end of that giveaway. All right, 5v4 in favor of NRG already. Dare is gone. This is a buy round for Voca.
This B-bomb site is so under threat at this point. All the mid-control lots are down from the vent. Nitro's got utility out though, and Marky can find a quick double. Carson also makes his way in, but they haven't accounted for Sonic. Sonic's found one early on. They still have a player pinned up against Checkers, and they found him as well. Now it's just Carson on the back of B, who's done a fine job in series past to hold strong on this site. And he just got to stall long enough before Junior can make the wrap over. Instead, they're going to
Nave, cai a casa do mar, que vira 2v2. Cheio de drama no round, hein? A Voca pressionada aí pra B. O lado terrorista mantém a postura pra esse avanço. E o Júnior vai tentando buscar as costinhas. O Júnior pode fazer a diferença e quebrar as pernas, tá? Vai pra lá, cameraman. Vamos dar uma olhadinha no Júnior. Vamos, cameraman. Aí, ó. Ó quem faz a diferença. Cameraman vivendo perigosamente, né? Ele vai no limite ali pras trocas. Mas tá tudo certo. Júnior cai. Surpreendido pelo Sonic, conseguiu dar a volta, o pezinho pra voltar lá pro duto e resgatar a C4. Com 30 segundos ele vai na correria. O Carson escolhe vir pelo mesmo caminho. O Sonic vai chegar a tempo de levar a C4 pro solo. O Carson não tem. Aí agora tá correndo. Agora tá correndo. Ele tava sem tempo ali, tava no shift. Então, acelerar cai bem. E o Sonic vai perder o tempo que não podia perder. Vai levar a C4 numa posição de péssima escolha, 0 vantagem. E o Carson aproveita pra pontuar 5-3. Que round doido, cara. Que
Cara,
nada a ver com nada, né?
por informação, né? No final ali, o Sonic que tinha informação do fase de eliminação. E ele não tinha info de onde estava ali na final das contas do Carson, né? O Carson chega pelas costas com toda a paciência. Sonic faz um fake click aí pra tentar baitar a aparição do jogador, mas ele tava chegando lá pelas costas, né? E o plant de C4 acaba sendo aberto, né? Nessa hora, mais pensando ali no after plant. Caso pra ele conseguir se reposicionar e ter uma C4 a seu favor. Aí, um plantzinho fechado seria o ideal pro Sonic, viu? Vamos lá, vamos de pontos 5-3 por aqui. E assim, um início de round muito...
Quad. But they're going for a boost. Dare's going to be hiding out here, maybe to try and catch a vent player or anyone tries to sneak in from the vents. Marky waiting on the site. He'll get overloaded. That's a really nice Molotov, but he still gets 2. Will burn to a crisp anyway. But job done for Marky. Now Snav and the rest of the reinforcements for Voca will come to take care of business. Bomb still hasn't been planted. Nitro really wants to get that down to dirt. The smoke will run to protect them, from the Molotov, but not from the bullets, as Voca will get a 4th.
It's a little nerve-wracking there for Marky, who you thought would really face the brunt of that attack and get max 1, but very lucky to get out with 2. And with that, stalls for just long enough before the cavalry arrive through the vent position. Once they're able to drop down to the ground, it's free pickings for this defense. And now NRG will have another save here, I'd assume, even though they've got the bomb plant.
Yeah. And
that means Voca have a chance to equalize here.
Certainly. And I think no one really expected NRG to get another 13-1 on this map. That would have been a complete shock. But they're still up right now and poised to potentially take a lead into the second half, but that's going to take a win in their next gun round or perhaps a surprise victory here with the 3 Tech 9s. All 3 of those techs are in squeaky, so there's going to be a flashbang thrown from main. They're going to move in from the door and hope that they can capitalize on some damage. It won't work out that way at all. Junior and Snav combine for 4, and then Snav finishes his hat trick.
It's exactly what you're looking for if you're Voca. And they would love to get these last 2 rounds on the tail end, but NRG, I'm sure they would want to use that advantageous position they had in this half and extend that CT side that much more comfortable. Of course, we've seen how dominant this defense has been across this tournament for NRG. Anything to make it easier, and the stake odds certainly consider that this might just be enough for them. But if you don't agree, or if you do, weekly reload of $35 is available to you using code STAR35. So get involved in all the action as we get into the nitty-gritty here. Full guns for NRG. And again, a very slow-paced, methodical default. This time focused more on this A side.
They're already going to get those 2 Molotovs thrown in. 1 for Quad, 1 for Fork. They're looking for someone to try and get the high ground. That will happen here. Will they catch someone is a question in itself. Dare gets Sonic. Snap finds Grim. Nitro will get one back, but only one. Voca looking phenomenal here in this round. Halzer trying to change his team's fortunes, but he takes so much damage in that engagement. Now he has to be perfect on any future ones that come through, and not to mention, they don't have the bomb. Bomb needs to be recovered, and Dare blindsides Halzer. This is another Voca round.
Yeah, I was the third player that had gone underneath the communications of NRG. And now that George has been spotted as that lurker on B, this one should be an open and shut case. The boost up for Dare, essentially winning the round. Completely shocking this T side because, frankly, you don't see the inverse boost all too often. It's very risky. You're gonna be basically mid-air on that first jump. If it's caught out, you're basically given no time to react. So for NRG, it's not even something that enters their mind, and yet still, it wins Voca their round.
Now, worst case scenario for Voca as they go into this next half with a 6-6 tie. But they're the ones primed for the lead, and you see NRG don't have much to work with. They finally call a timeout to talk things over going into this next round. This is not how they envisioned their pick of cash going. Voca continue to be a threat, a thorn in NRG's side that they can't seem to pull out.
Can't seem to put away this team for whatever reason. As NRG we'll try to make this one work. 2 Galils, Tech 9s. You've got plenty of utility for a pop or an execution. Let's see what they want to do with it. This is mid-XE tossed in, but it's a fake on this A side and then a push back into B. Grim shows his face, and that means the party's over.
Wow.
Markey will find 3 in that whole sequence. It's just Halzerk and Nitro. They spotted out another player in NBK there, but they've also spotted a player out in Heaven and can't deal with Snap this time around. So it looks like Voca will be getting themselves this slight edge at the end of their defensive half. NRG were admirable in their efforts to get 5, but doesn't feel like they've got much left in the tank as we throw it to a halftime break.
All right, we're back into it here, getting ready for the second half of play. Voca have flipped the script on NRG here on Cash. They go into the second half with a lead this time, not down 11-1, but instead up 7-5.
Sure, they'll feel glad that they're in this position finally to play with the lead here on Cash. But their harder side awaits them. Voca now take to this T side. Look to see what they can drum up. NRG chip on their shoulder after being forced to come to this environment, to this grand final from the lower bracket. And trying to satisfy the condition that, hey, they were expected to be the ones to qualify. Nothing is guaranteed in this life, though, John, as NRG look to battle back.
Crisscross mollies thrown by Voca, and Snav will get Grim immediately. Sonic waiting at fork, can't really see anything just yet. Nitro and Sonic actually will strike after Halzer gets Dare. All of a sudden, it was looking great for Voca, but NRG have struck back to make it a man advantage. Marky's trying to change that. Marky's on a tear! He gets 2 back! Sonic is now the last one that remains, and they know where he is. Just trying to isolate the fight. They can't! Sonic managed to get Carson down to a 1v1, a chaotic pistol to kick things off. Who will reign supreme? Will it be NRG or Voca? And Marky swinging around, it's NRG! Sonic gets the headshot, and they're back on the board.
You've got to give your heart out there to Marky for pulling back Voca in that pistol round, but it is Sonic who hasn't had the most incredible tournament by his standards, finding so much significant impact here and now. And what a time to find it. They deny the plant. They're essentially forcing Voca to allow the tie to happen. And that all comes off the back of the 3-piece from Sonic. Huge work there from the huge work there from the South African.
Absolutely. That's a tough spot too, right? Because they knew he was there. He'd already shown face, and he still wins both duels. Wow. Multiple swings in that pistol round. NRG trying to tie things up. It's kind of important for them to take that too, right? Because they watch things slip away from them, and in particular off of pistol round losses yesterday up against Voca. Not necessarily on Cash, but on the other maps, and seeing how this is a little bit closer. You really do want to get any advantage that you can. Sonic will get Marky immediately here. This is just the eco from Voca. No bomb plant means no buy-up.
Certainly so.
Yep.
Very easy second. Also still looking for some spams here. Just a formality, this one. Beyond Dare's Deagle. He fires that one off, so NRG knows what's up. And that Deagle doesn't find anything. Nav dying to find a better weapon, and he will die with that Deagle in his hands. NRG now find that equalizing round and look to carry on that momentum now that they've got the pistol conversion under their belt.
Whew. We're getting what we were hoping for a grand final, though, I'll tell you that, at least so far.
Mm-hmm.
And any player that gets that main event will get what they're hoping for in terms of PCs, as Lorgar are providing the official tournament PCs for the StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026 main event. Again, huge thanks to Lorgar. Sonic gonna get one, snap the immediate trade, and then Carson walks up on Grim in A main and finds himself a 4v3 in favor of Voca, but Halzer will quickly rip that one away. Back and forth, we continue to go here towards this A site, but Voca don't seem to deter. Oh, Junior looking the wrong way. Didn't realize Halzer could have been over at fork, and now he's gone.
He still lives. He still lives to tell the tale here, Halzer, and he's still looking for another duel, playing around these smokes. Foxy as ever. He stalled for long enough for George to make the rotation. The burst is a little awry, but he still finds the kill. It's all up to Snav now in the 1-on-3, and Halzer has lived for so long. Snav just trying to figure out where the hell he's gone off to. And you'll get the answer at the very last moment. NRG now reclaim the lead.
All right, well, Voca gonna have to climb on back into this one again. Still, it's only a 1-round lead, not insurmountable, but in this round they won't have that much to work with in terms of firepower. See the stake odds pretty heavily favoring NRG. If you want to get in on that action, make sure you use code STAR35 to get that weekly reload of $35, but in order to attain it, you have to deposit $20 first, and then you'll enjoy a daily $5 top-up for the next 7 days. No grinding, no gimmicks, just a steady reload all week long at stake. Nitro. Toss some more utility 4 here in towards B main. George gets the spam through the smoke. That's going to help out as Voca were trying to accelerate the pace, but now they have to slow up a little bit. They need to be careful on their approach because they're getting spotted every single turn. Even the wall spam is good for Halzer.
Wow. Nitro still finds one more. Sonic will chime in as well. And this is a big thing about NRG on this B site. Nitro held strong no matter how individually he was beforehand. The CT side, I just feel like he was very dynamic and was always able to work in tandem with his site mate. So Voca, I don't know how they're going to have to deal with that, but they've got to find an answer for it and quick.
See if they can. Voca can be very dynamic and quick to adapt against their opposition. They were yesterday, honestly, against NRG. Now they're trying to do it again. Sonic will get the opener, though. Carson's gone. Voca would have loved to get that, since they're looking to climb back into this one and tie it up again, but losing the first body, even though they do a ton of damage to Sonic, is not ideal. Sonic's actually going to grab the op from Halzerk. He's no stranger to using that op. He used to be a primary opper back in his day, and now is the secondary op on the squad. So should be just fine. Dare, I think he's going to line up some utility of his own, or just trying to make, yep, there's the util coming up. Smoke for mid. And the Molotov thrown into the vent. Voca setting up to take some mid control here, Paladin.
Certainly are trying it. But man down is going to make this a little bit more difficult. Halzer will still be jiggling here on white box. Grim now tasked with figuring out what's going on here on A. And perhaps there's something completely dry. Sonic will find something on his secondary, or actually primary for right now. He's the only opera here. Still.
10 seconds.
And as Nitro goes down, yeah, I don't know why we're... It's a save, I guess? What was the game plan here? Down on a 4v5.
Oh no!
Oh.
This is just... Ooh.
Oh. Alright, let's erase this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's after time. Carson's like, what? Yeah, we are too.
I'd say what too, man. Oh my god.
Oh my god. That... You gotta delete that from the memory banks if you're Voca, like, immediately. Pretend it never happened. First of all, no execute, which they were... I don't know what they were waiting for, hoping for a spot of NRG. Who knows? But that just went completely awry as NRG get their 10th. And also, a reminder, folks, to enter that ATK gear giveaway for your chance of winning one of 8 gaming mice. Just scroll in the description, click on the ATK gear giveaway banner, and enter for your chance to get one of those. All right. NRG might be able to string another couple together here, as Voca do not opt for a force buy. Junior has $0 too, but Snap actually gets the hero Galil and takes the first blood in the round. Nitro's gone.
The big man to find. B site worse for wear, but it's the A site where Voca want to have their way with, but oh my goodness, the flashes from George and Sonic are fantastic. Players are completely blind, actually taking the duel on the Grim, and NRG just get through that A site just so easily.
Grim's being set up for success in that round, right? Like the flashbangs, as you mentioned, just keep on flowing in. Grim obviously not blinded at all by them. They're thrown perfectly by NRG to disrupt Voca entirely. And he just is the beneficiary of all of that work. 2 rounds away are NRG from taking their map pick of cash. And Voca have not won a single round so far in this second half. Same story as when they switched to T side yesterday against NRG. Grim's pushing up, Snav's waiting. Yep, Snav's got that. At least a trade after the opener does go to Halzerk. Because can't speak AWP, but Snav's not going to expect Nitro at all here. Nitro's just waiting to see if he can find someone else, and he will. There's another player coming in. Util being tossed. There's one, and the second. Great transfer from Nitro. Junior's now left on an island with Dare, and Dare, well, he'll be the last one left since Sonic has just found that headshot. Oh my goodness, that's so well played from Nitro. Waited, bided his time, and then Halzerk will get the last coming in on a flank. Grim is all smiles. You don't see that very often. Usually very stoic, but man, he has to be happy about the way this one's going.
Yeah, I think he understands that the crisis has been averted. They've navigated some of these ecos pretty well. The buy rounds look solid. That chemistry that we spoke about how dominant their CT side looks here on this map still stand the test of time. And now they have 5 opportunities to close this out in regulation. I fancy their chances for sure, John. It just feels like they've really figured things out. Halzerk certainly has. He hasn't missed a beat. 21 and 12 alongside Sonic, also 21 kills himself, and Grim isn't missing a beat on this A side either.
Voca staring down at the possibility of being blanked on T-side cash for the second straight day. They just can't figure out what NRG is throwing their way. Grim, full A main control. I would be shocked if Voca clear the close corner. They know he's here, but they probably figured he's backed off. Grim's thinking about swinging it. He's just going to wait instead, because on the other side you have Halzerk. So Halzerk's going to attract the attention, then Grim can do even more damage, assuming Voca go in this direction, which they're not committed to. In fact, they've readjusted. Now they're pushing up from mid. 52 seconds left. Highway control gain for Voca. Halzerk pushed back. Can't connect on his shot, but Sonic will from above, and he gets the follow-up too. Sonic is doing it all, and Grim will eventually work with George to wrap up this map of cash. NRG are up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, awesome maneuvers there from NRG to get themselves into the conversation. The CT side stabilized. They have that as their safety blanket for a reason. And as soon as you felt like they had those 5 rounds on the offensive side of the ball, you're thinking, okay, this should be under lock and key, especially after they win the pistol. So all things looking good here for NRG to start the series. For Voca, they've been in this position before. This isn't different to them. Yep. It's all about how they continue on in this series, which is a really big question mark.
And also, Ancient was really good for them yesterday, right? They were stifling NRG completely. So, I mean, yes, NRG got 8 rounds, but it felt like they were fighting their crosshairs and fighting their positioning every single round along that way to only those 8 rounds. And yeah, anyway, look, still a great first map from NRG. You're going to see the kills on the board, the openers belonging to Sonic in terms of that top category with 4, and then Grim had 3 as well. I mean, everyone was getting on the mix, but Sonic had a very, very solid map of play. 2.6 KDR. Behind him, Halzerk at 1.8. Those are the 2 names you want to see at the top of the board. If
glad to be in that position because everything is broken.
Every time I elevated something to celebrate. John Jones, I went to heavyweight on these featherweights, but I ain't backing down, I'ma take the weight up another plate. Lean at the crumbs, that's how you eat, let me demonstrate. Decade in the game, I ain't lost a step, I just up the pace. Watch them up the pay, I put in the reps and pick up the chase. Then it up the balance, but we ain't even no miles away. It ain't just a talent, I took the challenge and walked the craze. Fell a couple times, but I got back up with some saving grace. Definitely leader, a pastor still need a preacher. Talk to me when I'm shallow, lend a lens to see deeper. Closer in to see higher up, that's too much for the speakers, but ain't much for the thinkers. Clouded, I rush to the lower end to see what's in the deeper. Found a message to send itself, we're much younger and eager. Keep your youth and maintain your health, cause the future is trouble. But you made for the struggle, and you born with the hustle. Any imagery less than greatness, erase it and double down on your first mind. I come from the worst kind, made life before I found shine. No chain, it was all grind. I'm him and they wanna dim, but my lumen's way off the chart. I'm human, I can't admit, but my spirit up with the stars. I'm clear as I ever been. This feeling won't never end. They watching, I notice, but it ain't knocking the focus. I'm highest and hottest, but I still be the coldest. I'm a champion, I'ma win, I know. I'ma grind for mine, they can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. I'ma win, I know. I'ma grind for mine, they can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. Life been so crazy, I can't do nothing but look high. This is just like I prayed, but ain't like I thought. I'm my way and sitting in my zone while they plotting out my grave. I'm plotting my next stop out state, getting that pay. I kept it true, I can't say how they played. I'm just gonna state what I knew and thank God I got grace. Grace for my years I've been putting in that pain. The bounce back insane, the build up took time, but wiped up the stains. I'm mic'd up as live, tap in, let's get gains. It ain't no more would did or should did. I got too much right now to brain. That's all I know and all I live for. All trying to stop my show. The tour 10 years ain't stopping till it's round the world and back again and back again and back again and back.
built a legacy that defined generations. But history only remembers those who survive what comes next.
That's some resistance. Circle maybe you can. 80 my word.
Faster.
It's bullets.
More brutal. Unforgiving. Season 20 is here. Write your name in gold.
All right, we're gearing up for map number 2 here of this grand final here in the StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026 North American Closed Qualifier, and NRG are up 1-0 after taking their map pick of Cash 13-7. Now we go on to Ancient, which is a map that NRG have struggled on pretty mightily in 3 of their last 4. You're going to see it on your screen as well, but twice they've lost here. Once against Marsborn 6-13, and then yesterday against Voca 8-13, Paladin.
Yeah, there just seems to be like a fundamental misunderstanding as to how they want to approach it. Halzerk also particularly looks the most confused on this map. I'm not exactly sure why. I feel as though Complexity had a pretty good foothold on Ancient across their tenure. You know, when they moved over to Passion UA, they still really, okay on the map for sure, but he just doesn't necessarily look like himself. Of course, these numbers are always going to look a little strange when you factor in the fact of the matter that they've played some stiff competition, but ever since they've added Halzerk, they just haven't had any success, notably in this qualifier as well. So for me, I think the biggest question mark is how does Halzerk perform? And I definitely saw some improvements on Catch from an individual mechanical perspective, but now when you start to get a little bit more technical with how you want to call your shots on the rotations, talking Red Room fight, talking Donut fight, maybe talking a boost up on the B side as well, there are all these options. How much does Halzerk get back into the swing of things and start activating from those positions?
No, I do agree. I think Halzerk needs to be a big part of their resurgence here on Ancient. Maybe they've talked about it. Maybe they've made adjustments in order to have that come to fruition. But it's going to be a difficult ride here for NRG to try and get a 2-0. I feel like going into it, Voca are making the right choice by picking Ancient. It's not a map that they typically will go into, but they have in the past decided to play it. They lost against M80 in July, earlier in July, I should say. And right here yesterday up against NRG came out with that 13-8 win. So yeah, I mean, look, they definitely know what they're doing by picking into this map. They would usually choose Dust 2, but that ends up being a third map today. And interestingly enough, Paladin, they did ban Dust 2 yesterday in order to make it be Ancient as a third map. So they were willing not to play Dust 2 in order to beat NRG, and it worked out for them. So we'll be
You're exactly right.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I believe elimination being on the line will make this that much more difficult, right? You think about that factor, the factor that the NRG have now multiple demos to review, multiple things to understand. Okay, this is what went wrong. I think they lost to Marsborn and Voca in different ways, I would say. With Marsborn, it was raw aggression, Yeah. You felt like you had Grizz, OG Wizard, Wumbo, all these guys that were very in your face, and NRG couldn't keep up with it. With Voca, I just thought it was very stellar mid-rounding. I think they were really able to understand how to play in these 2v2s, these 2v3s, and NRG couldn't keep up in that sense. So there's a lot of things that Voca can potentially manipulate on this map that I feel like NRG just have so much work to do that I'm not exactly sure if they have the tools. Now, the big key is that if they're mechanically on, that might just all become moot and they roll over anyways, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, me neither. And I think that Halzerk was kind of getting abused on Ancient last time towards Long B. I think he was playing a lot of time, which is very typical for an operative posted up there on CT side, but it just felt like that T side of Voca was just running through them. And it was the B side that was the most vulnerable consistently. And that's something you can take advantage of on your T side if you're noticing that your opponent can't really defend, because you can get there so fast. You're sprinting up out of spawn. You're there in 10 seconds. And then you can just run right into their faces on the CT side. So we'll see if Voca continue to try and employ that strategy, or if perhaps they will mix things up and take a different approach. But yeah, being their map pick, they will be starting on T side, of course.
I'd hope so. If I'm NRG, I'm definitely starting on the CT side. And I think in their minds, if they can start off on the right foot, similar to that of Cash, where they're able to get just a couple of rounds in the door, they'll be happy. And you can also see just the number of times they've had CT-sided starts on specific maps and just taken over once they get their footing, once they have the ops out, the utility out. So there are still like things to be excited for NRG on this start. But of course, Voca using this as their ace in the hole. They really, really want to force Dust 2, and I'd argue that they're slightly favored if they do go there, just off the basis of how efficient I feel like they've shown off their Dust 2 across this tournament and across this year. Whereas NRG are definitely like looking to reclaim lost glory.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, look, they did 13-2 Marsborn, right, on Dust 2 just the other day, right here in this close qualifier. So I feel like they are still very confident on that map. It'll be a very interesting brawl if we get there. I do hope so. But at the same time, NRG, they want to close this out. They want that 2-0, and Voca's going to have to fight tooth and nail to prevent them from getting the recovery that they're looking for on Ancient. And you know that NRG probably, as much as they could, viewed the tape on that map to try and determine what they could change here. And, well, I mean, it's not much time. It's only a less than 24-hour turnaround since they played against Voca, or maybe a little more than 24 hours now. But either way, it's not going to be easy for them. We'll see. I'm not sure what the holdup is, to be honest with you, Paladin. I think everyone looks like they're ready to go, but perhaps connection issues plaguing us once more. They will be. Oh, never mind. I'm completely wrong. They're going to begin in a moment, guys. So we're about to get started here. Yep, as Halser claps, we go into things here, trying to cheer his team on, get them pumped up to try and close this out in 2 maps. Here we go, NRG versus Voca, map 2.
NRG CT side start as expected. And Voca look to get involved early on. Pacey to Donut. They've done this strategy a couple of times before. And this time to switch up for NRG is have 2 players in A main, and that third coming from CT.
Oh, wow. It works beautifully. Sonic gets 2. George and Halser get a couple more, and it's only Dare left. Love the adjustment that we're already seeing from NRG. And Voca will not be able to instill their rhythm at the beginning of the match as they did yesterday. Anything but. Dare, 48 points of health remain. Could try to double back to the B site, but he wants to take a fight into A first. Now he'll go back to B, but while he delays, Grim manages to make his way all the way towards Cave. Dare's going to hear this, you think. Oh, no, Grim slows down, but maybe he still heard it. Yep, there's the headshot for Dare. Maybe a bomb plant can come through. Indeed it will. NRG trying to surround him here to secure this round.
Gets the reload off. They continue to encroach, and they spam him in from the cave side to just mess with him just a little bit longer. And NRG will get themselves the pistol. Bomb plant and 2 kills. Not the greatest grounds for a purchase, but you want to opt in for it. It's not the most ridiculous thing in the world. But NRG get that start that they were looking for and look to shut this map down in 2 slowly but surely.
Well, Voca do at least get the bomb plant, so that helps them justify this force buy. Dare on the Galil, Snav on the MAC-10, everyone else pistols. And on the other side, NRG have managed to get 3 M4s up. Look at this. This looks like just a straight A pop for Voca, and no one's actually there. Sonic is going to take up some space from CT, so he'll have visibility momentarily, but the smoke lands in his face, and actually Snav gets Nitro in the opening duel towards mid. Voca could just execute straight forward into A, but instead they double back and want to try something a little bit different based upon that first frag they just found.
A little interesting of a strat, and NRG are not buying into this. Rotation back into B. They go 2 and 2. They give up mid control. And they still are aware that, Dare could be around. There could be a straggling T here. But the main hit is coming over on A. Everyone walking in a conga line there outside the T doors. Also will be that first point of contact alongside Grim. They won't really have much time or space to create a real crossfire. It's just going to have to be raw duels. And maybe Dare will sell something down the river, but he goes down, and that's when the penny drops. This B bomb site is the final destination.
NRG's kind of backed off. They're playing a more passive approach here to B. I would say a retake approach. Allowing the smokes to land in front of them, knowing that that was coming in anyway. 15 seconds left, though. They could just deny the plant with some well-placed spam, and that's what they're trying to do. Marky going to get the bomb thrown his way. He's punching in the digits. And it will be planted. Carson even finds one with the Molotov on the Sonic. Marky gets a follow-up. It's up to Grim and Halzer to try and pull this bomb site back. Look at the HP bars for Voca. 8, 8, and 21. Barely anything left in the tank.
No kits.
Junior will get taken out here. Yep, no kits, but they just have to find these frags quickly, and they'll do exactly that. The lack of the kits will not make a difference. And Halzer and Grim get 2 apiece to give NRG their second.
Whew. Comes down to a 2vx, and NRG get by. I think if I'm Voca here, I'm 100% purchasing into this round. Like, it's not even a thought in my mind. You bring it down to 2 players, you got loss bonus built up and a bomb plant. It's a no-brainer. And they'll take this time out to really discuss it, get Semphis on the mic, but I think this is a very obvious purchase, and Junior buying into that Galil already suggests to me that the rest of their team will follow suit in just a short minute.
Yeah, I mean, you did get NRG down pretty low in terms of the manpower, so you have that chance to punish immediately. We're still discussing. Dare does a lot of the talking in some of these timeouts. Contributes a lot in terms of the strats. But now it's ended. And they're ready to go. Orgar is also ready to go in terms of providing the tournament PCs for the StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026 main event. So a huge thank you to them for that. And indeed, you are correct, Paladin. They are going all in on the buy-up. 5 Galils and a good chunky utility that's going to get utilized immediately here. Snap takes a little bit of damage from that nade. Dare's already out towards mid. They have an idea of that. Yeah, the nades go in and the Molotov lands flashbang as well as they try to swing him. But Snap's actually going to be the first one to find a frag here. NRG not able to collect anything on that first foray into mid, and Carson, I think he knows someone's there. He continues spamming. He's waiting for the smoke to fade, then turns around. Yep, George is gone. 5v3 just like that for Voca. And they have B control.
And that one smoke up in A brings over all 3 of these players. They're planting on B. And they'll realize very quickly that this round is over and that the save should be on. So the repurchase again now works out for Voca. Completely shatters the money for NRG, considering they don't have any guns saved. And you can see on Halzik's face, he realizes that's an awful round to lose.
Oh, it certainly is. And the way they lost it too. Not a single frag. All 5 Voca players left alive, so they build up a good, healthy bank account there. Junior even gets the upgrade to the A1S, and NRG, they're going to force up. They're not shying away from this. In fact, they're going to take all the space in towards A main and mid. This is their attempt to collapse on Voca. It might work. Junior is going to get one, but tons of damage done to Darren himself. Grim waits to capitalize. There's one, swings around for the second, maybe the third. Pulls out the MP9 again. Was thinking about the pistol for a moment, but says, you know what, I still got a few bullets left. Tosses the smoke out. Fantastic start for NRG to the round, and there are guns down to be recovered, but they're being a little cautious about that approach, and you can't blame them for it.
If they got a 3rd kill after seeing that 3rd player, maybe they'd be a little bit more forward-facing, but not to be. And Sonic's now found another person. But Marky has dealt with Halzerk on the fadeaway. So that means Sonic has got to retain space on A, at least temporarily. Grim's leaning that way. Nitro's going to have to do a lot of work with this 5-7. In a couple of seconds, he'll probably start looking for information too. Here he comes with Grim. And MP9 has got to do a little bit more work. He finds one more. Still another player in Snap to deal with here, tucked away in this cubby. As Snap tries to hold on, but Grim's gonna go through this.
Oh.
So aggressive here from Grim, but they pass each other like ships in the night, and still Grim with the awareness. On for the ace now. Marky in the 1-on-2, 20 seconds left on the clock. He's got to get a move on. He's got to find Grim. He's got to find the bomb and punch in the digits. That molly will be well placed. It'll flush out Grim to take a more of a duel, and it spreads just long enough for Marky to make this a one-on-one. 16 HP here for Sonic. But yeah, it's the time that's the real enemy here for Marky, and he hasn't made it in time.
Oh no!
And Sonic was still showing face.
God!
Nearly threw it all away, but NRG still come out on top.
Oh my goodness. Sonic's been so excellent throughout this entire closed qualifier, but I have to say, that was the wrong decision in every way, shape, and form. I'm not even sure why he's going out there. Maybe he's thinking, okay, like, I'm gonna get a kill on him, but do it after the clock expires. There's no reason to be out there at all, because if Grim swings even just a little bit more around that corner, Sonic's dead and the round goes to Voca. Whew. Spicy. Just trying to keep it interesting, I guess. But,
yeah, I guess so, John. I guess so.
You could have just stayed in cave the whole time. You didn't have to make a move.
I know. Especially after you hear that bomb, like the bomb being like tapped or whatever. Like it's 3 seconds left on the clock. The round is physically unwinnable.
Yes.
Well, NRG have got the stake odds in their favor here, and if you want to get involved in the action towards the tail end of this tournament, that weekly reeler of $35 can be activated through code STAR35 on stake. Control still being very hotly contested here by NRG. And they go 1 for 1, and George will be right there to rebuff that position. But in the meanwhile, Junior has found space here on B.
Oh.
What a flick there from Halzer. Gets the closer player somehow and keeps us in a 3-on-3.
I mean, we talked about it before. Halzerk needs to be stronger on that B side, and already seeing that flick is good news if you're NRG. But Snap slips you the smoke on lane, gets George. Nitro trying to trade it out, but he's met with 2 players, and now it's up to Halzerk, who will miss that shot, pulls out the pistol, gets the headshot on Marky, but he's down to 10, and Dare flanks him out. Voca right back into the swing of things with a second.
And there's just no stability in the CT economy for NRG. They win 1, but by the skin of their teeth, and the following round, if they drop it, they're in that double eco territory once more. Nice flick there again from Halzer, but not enough in the end of it all. Would love to have nailed that one. But instead, it's Voca closing in on NRG. All these T rounds amassed are only better and better signs for confirming a potential third map here.
All right, gonna go into round number 6 here. Expecting NRG to get aggressive again, but it looks like instead they're gonna be holding the line towards the B site, heavily stacked in this direction. 4 players here, Grim included amongst that, Halzerk on the other side, anchoring down A. But it appears as though, at least in the early goings here, that Voca have gambled correct. Excuse me, NRG have gambled correctly.
You've got no choice but to get a little bit gambly here if you are NRG. To purchase like this. Hold off on anything too crazy. Now, with the pause, George now does move over, and Sonic also considering some movement as well. Bit hot and cold. But NRG eventually should be able to settle here on B. It's still just Grim and Nitro. Sonic not too far behind, but he doesn't have the greatest weapon to play that long range at this point.
33 seconds left, and Voca are going for a last-second readjustment. Leaning A instead. This is the correct call for them. 20 seconds now. When is the bomb going to be on the scene? And can Grim just kill the bomb planter before they spot him out? That's the question in my mind. There's not much util left. Flashbang going to get tossed. Grim will get one. Maybe another one to prevent the plant. That's the key for him. He's trying to stay alive. Goes through the smoke. 5 seconds left. Okay, the bomb will go down in time, but just barely. Voca dancing within the fire and the flames. But it will still be a third round secured.
Skin of their teeth. Now walk that tight wire efficiently. It's just Grim and Nitro that will have to give essentially 4 rounds to Voca. 2 for the price of 1 with this double eco and Force by War coming to an end. Nice kill to find there from Nitro. But his sight mate has gone down. And Nitro will not be able to recover a gun.
All right. Well, no heroics in that force buy for NRG, and now they're almost certainly on an eco. Having not found that much in the previous, and there you go. Just a 5.7, P250, 3 USPs, and a little bit of utility. Certainly not going to be as simple and straightforward for Voca as it was previously. Yesterday, I should say. But Grim is going to get one and Nitro, another. Grim shut down by Junior. Junior needs to be clean on the second. He's actually helped out by Carson. Now NRG's trying to aggress from the other side. And woo, they're boosted up on top of each other. A little bit sloppy. Marky is going to get Halzerg, and then Marky finds Sonic as well. Valiant effort here from NRG to disrupt, but Voca keep their wits about them and secure a fourth.
I'd actually argue that Molly's the MVP of that round. If they stay in that boost, headshot angles seem to have caused a lot of problems for the Voca T's encroaching upon lane. But NRG do only end up with 2 kills. ATK Gear are still giving away 8 mice. You click that banner below, you can get involved in the giveaway. 8 of those being given. We get right back into it in round number 8. No AWP for Halzerg here. But it'll have to do. Trying to get mid control at the very least. I haven't been able to establish that just yet. They'll re-smoke it deep. And now, with lane space, or at least cave space, NRG can feel a little bit more comfortable. Sonic's now going to vault up into heaven. But he gets found out. Flash is actually done very well by the T's. So much damage done to Voca. And yet still, they retain the man advantage.
See how long it'll last. Still plenty of time on the clock, and they have pretty much gained mid control, but instead going up lane now. Sending all 5 players into cave, and NRG do not have the read at all. They are instead going to clear out mid. No one left to defend the B sites. This will be a retake attempt with no kits available.
I mean, there's a world, John, where they just don't even go for the retake. You're essentially stood behind this smoke. They can re-smoke that CT spawn. Yeah, NRG realize we have completely made the wrong decision in re-clearing mid. Voca again, very similar to the previous time they played on Ancient, just very sharp in these mid-round situations.
Playing well. Playing it well. NRG, on the other hand, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that they go to clear mid and at the time they do, but at the same time, you get to save these 4 rifles into the next round. So you can reset. Marky might be one of these death. He's not. He's going to be the one delivering death himself onto Nitro. And that means only 3 rifles saved instead in the NRG camp. But they will be buying around that, without a doubt, to try again.
NRG now desperately losing control of this map. Voca have really slotted into place, I would feel like. They're gonna try their hand again. Carson does get 1, or nearly got 1. But this aggressive maneuver here on main works out. It's worked out a couple of times here for Grim. This one's no exception. Voca now in a 3-on-5. Severe man disadvantage, only really have mid to their name, and they have Dare here, so maybe the round's still completely on because Dare might be able to piece together a couple. He's heard these sound cues in Donut, but he's had to shoot his gun a little bit quicker, and Sonic will capitalize.
If Grim doesn't look that way, then maybe he gets away with it, but because Grim stares him down, well, that's the problem. Snav's gonna get 1, but George gets a couple back, and NRG are on the board once more. They cut the lead down to only 1. But yeah, I appreciate the approach from Dare. Maybe one more thing going his way would have led to Voca getting that round, and it looks like Nitro's son has decided to move the camera and have a look into it when he wasn't paying attention. So, a bit of a cameo there.
Mid control again for NRG. And gonna try their hand again, Voca, though, popping through a little early. And Snav just gets all the way through lane. Completely blindsides his entire hit. And it just feels like every time they've wanted to dedicate themselves towards mid, they found exactly what they're looking for. The timing is right, the flashes are perfectly placed, and none of the players that are involved in that sequence on the CT side can ever get any sort of footing.
That's just taking mid with authority, though, if you're Voca. Beautiful stuff. Textbook. Halzerk will get 1. They know he's here, and money-wise, you know, could justify poking around a little bit more to try and find him and take this op out of his hands. Money should still be healthy enough for NRG to buy up around it. And you know what, Voca? They don't want to mess with him. Decide to keep what they have safe and extend their lead back to 2 rounds.
So there's that AWP saved. And now, what does this NRG squad do? Because if they can't figure out mid like this, I mean, damage is already done. They've already lost 6 rounds, but it's more so, can they reclaim these 2 rounds is the real question. Stake odds widely swung the other direction. And of course, that weekly reload, $35, still available with code STAR35. NRG now will again have to contend with Carson and Dare getting out mid, Snap continuously getting out through lane as well, and Halzerk has not been able to get a real foothold in this mid round.
It's a good trade from Sonic, though. Carson unable to make any impact towards Donut. And if anything's changed from yesterday, it's, again, that Carson hasn't been able to pop off in a similar manner, but Junior is on point. Nitro gone. Do they check for George? They have to clear this. They don't! Snav gets caught off guard, and Sonic's picked up the op to get Dare. Grim will spray down Marky, and all of a sudden, things just collapsing on Voca's side. Junior will manage to get his second. Plenty of time left on the clock, but problem is, he doesn't have the bomb. Grim needs to be careful about his approach. Knowing he's going up against an op, should be cautious not to expose himself too much, but he does! Grim caught off by Junior, And now a 1v1 materializes. Sonic all the way into mid. He's going to have to gamble here. A or B. Junior last spotted at the B site. 30 seconds left. Let's see what he chooses.
I think in Junior's mind, he's thinking Sonic has probably gone mid, might be up through heaven and try to walk back into B, but doesn't happen. 15 seconds left on the clock now. As Junior makes a move in on this B site, he'll be able to cross for free. Has a Molotov for Cave, but Sonic is now encroaching upon his position. He should have this, at least this angle down, but he misses the shot, and Junior capitalizes. Rare miss there from Sonic, and Voca get the slight lead at a guarantee here on Ancient.
What a round from Junior, though, clutching that out for his squad. He's had a quiet, close qualifier, certainly some flashes here and there, but this series in particular, he seems to be locked in. And that was a really, like, look, Grim exposed himself by a hair, but Junior had to hit the shot, and it's not easy, and he just nailed it. And after that, patience, poise, and a final frag. 7-4 for Voca, heading into the final round here of this first half. Halzer's got the op, Sonic and M4, and so does Nitro, as Nitro also has that M4, but 2 MP9s around them. That means that George, along with Grim, will have to play some closer angles to try to use that MP9 as best as possible.
Boost up for George here. Onto that tree position. Nitro, who's given Snav so much room to come up the lane for this half, will finally start to play a little bit far forward. But that won't necessarily matter in the short term because Voca are now breathing down the necks of George and Halzer here on A. There's that third rotation, and George still manages to win out the duel. Same goes for Sonic. Bomb dropped into A, so they have to take these duels now, considering they haven't been able to pick it up. And George gets a necessary trade. It's Marky against a couple here, and he won't be able to pass the test. So it's just Snav on this flank. NRG look to get themselves at least 5 on this CT side. But unfortunately, John, it doesn't feel like this is enough for the defense.
We'll have to see as Nitro gets the last on Snav, and that's the half. All right, we're back, getting ready for the second half of play. NRG salvaging a 5th round on the tail end of that first half, so it's looking a lot closer than it did yesterday on Ancient, but it's still Voca who appear to have the upper hand.
Certainly so. Voca looking to force us to Dust 2, where they've definitely shown some prowess there. NRG still haven't really shown us what they have to offer on the map, regardless of past experiences. This 5-man unit has only played Marsborn. And of course, it was a big win for them, but still, there's just that little bit of an inkling of worry if they have to go there as to how successful Voca have been on Dust 2. And NRG, I'm sure, are hungry to battle back here on the offense. It's a tough ask, but they're just 2 rounds back here.
Pistol round and everything changes. And that goes both ways. for NRG and Voca. Voca would take a bigger lead, and NRG would actually be in a hole, versus NRG coming back into this one and inching ever closer to securing that spot at the main event here at StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026. Here we go, NRG into a B site that doesn't have much presence. Junior could catch a straggler here, but he's not able to. Now fades back into Cave. That confirms presence as we're in a post plant here, 5v5.
She'll favor this for NRG just a little bit. Cave presence coming in, spamming on Junior, and that should have been calmed over. And now here comes a CT hit. Dare's turn to fight for the tripwire. Headshot immediately hit by Halzer. Grim chimes in for another as well. And slowly but surely, Voca's chances in this pistol round have been turned to nothing. NRG look to get themselves their 6th round of play. And sure, all these kills are nice, but yeah, but the round is unfortunately gone.
I was going to say, not just damage, but money, right? You gain an extra 150 in the bank accounts for Voca. But at the same time, they would have much rather had the round, of course. NRG with that 6 primes them to tie things up. But Voca can be very potent on their force buys, which I imagine we're going to see here. Yes. So, I mean, they've shied away from it. The only reason I doubted myself for a moment is I've seen them shy away from it throughout this close qualifier, which wasn't the Voca MO before. Before it was, especially when they were Timberman, they're just forcing up whenever they get the opportunity, whenever, a second round happens and they lose the pistol. But now they're much more strategic, and we've seen that evolution as time has gone on.
Well, this force buy could still be very potent. That nade is solid from Voca. And Junior hits a ripper of a deagle headshot. This triangle of doom looks fantastic here. And NRG have faltered. Have kept it far too simple. And Voca, right place, right time, right weaponry. This one should be a done deal.
Yeah, there are guns all over the B site, but they're not even going for them as it stands. Just sticking to what they've got in their hands. Dare could get caught off here. Needs to be careful about the approach. Sonic's watching, and Dare might have gotten the spot on a jiggle and knows that Sonic's heading this direction as he's completely paused. Throws the smoke. I guess that smoke could have come from A main. That's what Sonic's focusing his attentions on, but now we'll look into Z and doesn't see anything. Everyone's backed off for Voca, so all that forward positioning no longer available for them. 28 seconds left. I'm not even sure NRG are going for this. Sonic does get one. Allstark's going to make his move out. He's dead. No way. Yeah. Snav's going to take care of that. And that'll be the round. Voca strike back in their force buy to take an 8th.
And Sonic won't be able to even save that gun either. Calamity for NRG. If you want to talk about potentially taking back the lead, potentially finishing the series off in 2, there were conversations there for sure, but just not a well-crafted round there from Nitro. I hate to say it. Just too simple to go after that B play off rip. Another shout out to Lorgar, official tournament sponsors with their PCs that we'll see at the main event. Of course, shout out Lorgar once again. NRG now still all in here. Couple of weird purchases leaves Nitro with a knife. He goes back to get his Glock. And they're going to have to make this one do, John, because this is potentially giving over double digits.
Another B approach. Snav, ready and waiting, watching at Jag. Now is backed off after not seeing anything. Just going to make sure that no one's made their way up ramp, which they haven't, and he's splitting his focus between both angles. NRG don't have that much util. That's the only smoke, in fact, and it's dedicated to the B site. You'd feel like that's the site they need to go to, given they committed that utility there. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. Flashes are available as well. Snav gets one. Does take a lot of damage, but he falls back and to the safety of his teammates' arms as they're ready to support him. Grim does get one, and you see that Sonic slipped into the back lines, but it doesn't yield much. Halzerk has to do a ton here. In a 1v3, has to do everything, of course. Picks up the M4, gets one, and a second, maybe he will do it all! Junior, the last one available, but Halzerk can't get him. And Junior will clutch it out and get the defusal.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Good attempt there from Halzerk. Maybe if there was a couple of more bullets in that A4, it's a different story. But goodness, NRG cannot do enough with that force buy. We'll have to take a save. We'll have to give over double digits. And Voca still, despite Halzerk's heroics, march towards a good future.
Halzerk goes for the hero AK. And you can see those stake odds starting to lean more and more towards Voca here on this map pick of theirs. And if you want to get in the action as well, make sure you use code STAR35 to get that weekly reload of $35. All you got to do is deposit $20, use that code STAR35, and then you'll enjoy a daily $5 top-up for the next 7 days at stake. Carson, along with Snav and Marky, holding down the fort at the B site. And it's NRG, it's just... Sorry, for NRG, it's just rinse and repeat. Pretty much the exact same approach at the beginning of the round anyway. But now they will mix it up, heading into mid instead of leaning B. No one's really watching, so this is completely...
No.
There's no comms here, of course, for Voca, but Junior is waiting over in red, so he should be able to do some damage, and he absolutely does.
Should have seen that AK get picked up with a flash directly in Junior's face. That allows Grim to get activated. Oh, and another one on the Snav. It's man advantage, but still Dare lying in wait here on this A side has to contend with this picked up rifle here for Nitro. He got a slow one here individually, but will get completed a kill. They've got a bomb plant and an unlikely situation turned NRG's way. It has to be capitalized upon.
That hero AK doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And Voca, considering the circumstances now that everyone has guns in their hands, I don't know if they can even get back in. Yeah, Marky's like, hey guys, or at least Carson, we're not going in. We got to back off. Let's just save these guns. And we don't have the money. And Carson's like, nah, I'm going to take a fight anyway and die. 7th round found for NRG. Maybe there wasn't really much of a choice for Carson given his positioning. But either way, that is a coup for NRG on what was effectively an eco. With the AK, of course.
And what, like, you don't necessarily see those hero AK rounds work as often these days. And so getting this value out of this 2700 purchase is fantastic. Now, NRG are given a lifeline and a chance to claw back. They've gotten close to the edges of Voca's coffers. 5-7 for Dare, MP9s for both Snav and Carson. This is your chance to get back into this game and potentially equalize us.
But we've seen a lot of effective rounds from Voca in similar buy-ups. So NRG aren't out of the woods yet. Need to make sure they don't simplify things too much, because that could lead to failure as it did previously. Snav, on the other hand, would love to pop out of this smoke and collect a couple of bodies. He won't. Playing the patient game. Might still get those two. No, he gets none. Snav gone.
Wow.
B site exposed.
Yeah, B site indeed exposed. Grim does go down in this process. Marky's making the rotation very quickly. He might have a chance at one, but that molly does extinguish his chances temporarily. We're on 4 here. No kits, though. Definitely no space now that Dare has gone down. NRG should have themselves their 8th. If I'm Voca, I'm saving. I'm having another bite of the cherry in round number 18. I'm having a look in again. Not willing to give over this lead that easily.
Alrighty. NRG starting to put the pieces together on their T side. There's the 8 rounds. That matches what they had yesterday. But by the time they got 8 in that brawl, I believe things may have already been out of hand. Yeah, they really were. It was only 3 rounds away for Voca to take it. In yesterday's bout, so now you're getting closer. Sure, Voca's saving 3 guns, so they'll have a buy up in the next, but Nitro is talking to his squad saying, hey guys, this is a prime opportunity for us to tie things up and really start to potentially take control. Don't forget about that ATK gear giveaway, folks. There's 8 gaming mice up for grabs. Click the banner in the description below. Just scroll down and do that. And once you do, follow the instructions on screen and you'll be entered into the giveaway.
What can these rifles do here? Marky on B. Junior alongside Carson from Donut. And NRG want nothing to do with mid, at least temporarily. Now they're thinking about it. Flash into the red room. Sonic is out. This boost could be very dangerous. All the way up into the red room now, and Sonic will vault up. Grim will fight forward. Dare is just a USP, so this is a favorable fight for Grim for sure. And now this B bomb site is significantly under threat. It seems as though NRG have made the right call.
Halzerk will find
That's
Marky.
rifle gone.
Yeah. Carson and Junior still got heavy hitting guns. But Grim has managed to slip through on the back lines. This B site's cooked. No chance at all. There you go. They're gone thanks to Grim's approach. And Carson and Junior, I mean, the best thing to do right now is save these guns for the next round. And they will.
It's Voca's turn now, John, to feel a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Couple of slip-ups, and the Giants of NRG are slowly lumbering back awake. Carson will get himself a quick little exit before he dives away. And Junior will really have to keep his wits about him here. AWP heard. Carson's rifle has been taken away. And now Junior, his days are numbered. Oh, great shot on the Halzerk. Needs the no-scope on a Grim, but can't find it. Upgrade for Grim. And repurchases across the board. And no AWP confirmed now for Junior unless he wants to go glass, which I don't think will happen.
That was a really effective hunt from NRG, and it'll hurt Voca, no question about it. You're going to look at the DAR coming on your screen here. Junior at 102 ADR leads the server in that regard. He's had a heck of a map and even a series, but they're not staring down in the lead thanks to Grim's efforts on the other side. 18 on the board for him. Flash is going back and forth here, but Halzerk blindsides Carson and cuts him down with the AWP. Dare does manage to get the trade. He's trying to hold on to mid-control. I feel like NRG are going to challenge it again. They absolutely are, and Sonic will win it back. Snav over, and Jag can't win the duel either. Tons of damage dealt to both Nitro and Sonic in those duels, but Voca cannot claim another body after their first frag, so it'll be a 4v2 Junior. Oh my goodness, can he do it again? Coming in on a potential flank. I think they're watching. They must have heard something, because Grim is waiting for this, and Junior won't really have a chance to strike. He does get one, but he's immediately traded by Grim. That is fantastic awareness from NRG. And only Marky left towards the B site, and he will find Nitro, but that just means you send it to A, right?
I don't like that they're searching for him like that on a solo mission. You know he's the B anchor. Why not play the 3-on-1? I guess Nitro was low HP, so it doesn't matter, but still a little bit dangerous, and still a chance for Marky, who has been ever threatening here on this map of Ancient, to find another clutch. No defuse kit, mind you. None in the vicinity either. So this will be a tough one to piece together, especially considering they got into donuts. So this should still be an NRG round. But stranger things have happened. Tap comes through for Marky. He looks for a shoulder. He finds one, and the hop, skip, and a jump game was not going to really phase Marky. He doesn't want anything to do with it, and he'll back up and give the lead over to NRG.
Yeah, maybe if he had the kit, would have been a little more doable, but even then, like you mentioned, both players tucked into donut. They can just wait. No utility, no smoke was available for Marky in that instance. Now he's picked one up, but didn't have one before. And NRG get themselves a 10th. That is a difficult round for Voca to lose economically. Sure, Marky saves the AK, but you're just going to have to settle for an eco here. That means that NRG are going to be able to claim a 2-round lead unless Marky can have the same heroics that Grim had when he was the sole rifle entering a round.
Ooh, now we're getting into real dangerous territory for Voca. And it felt like this game was in the palm of their hand, but NRG have slowly been churning out rounds on this T side, and this spam is so good. It's so close to finding Dare. But now they're going to throw in this A utility, and Sonic is still aware of this possibility, mind you. He's not giving up on it. But meanwhile, this A hit does come through. Carson will be the first to fight. And Snav is taking down the B lurk elsewhere. Oh, but the spam, the burst there from Dare. Long range MP9 does not cut it. It's just a dink, not a frag. And everything comes up NRG. Sure, Snav finds that AK-47, but they're giving away 11 now.
Those were the types of rounds that NRG were struggling to close out yesterday. Today, it's the exact opposite. They're sharper. They're looking like they wanted that ticket to the main event here. Marky and Snav fading off. A couple of AKs will be saved through. And this next round will be a buy-up for them. Those 2 AKs will bolster it considerably. NRG are 2 rounds away from claiming victory.
And who would have thunk it after that start and the collapse that they had against the force buy? You're thinking this is where Voca just locks into place. The CT side looks sublime, and they just shrug off NRG into dust too. But how the tables have turned. Now, look at the stake odds, 1.3 to 3 for NRG's favor. If you want to get involved, weekly reload, $35 with code STAR35 as NRG storms this A bomb site. It's completely empty. Deep donut smoke, and Junior does get one after blowing open that smoke.
Oh, that's the bomb.
But this bomb should still go down. You'd think eventually the smoke still should have some seconds on it before it does hit dirt. And there we go. But a flank brewing, and Voca looking to constrict upon this as Halzer gets completely blindsided by a quick, fast-paced Dare.
Wow. I mean, just getting that shot from Junior actually delays the bomb play because that was the bomb carrier, but it might not matter. Nitro and Grim strike back. They take that 5v3 away. They don't expect Snap to be in A main, and now Carson will get the last 2. Voca hanging in there with a very nice retake, and a 10th round is theirs.
Oh, it got still a little nerve-wracking. That boost nearly catches them off guard, but the second player in A main holding his tongue in Snav. And that was huge. There was always the first step in that equation, not the last. And Voca just hold on for dear life. They needed that round. Still some cash to splash for NRG, maybe even another buy left in the tank, but this is going to be difficult.
It's anyone's game. Grim boosted up over the top of the smoke, hoping to spot something. But Voca have decided against aggression in this round, at least prolonged aggression. Snav hanging around Jag as he's been for the entire half. Now has to be careful about where he goes because Halzerk is posted up and watching this site. Snav. Oh, okay, Halzerk actually doesn't have this angle. Thought he did. X-ray deceiving us. And now, oh, now he does see Snap coming around the left side. Okay. At least attracting attention. Maybe that was his mission here. Now take a shot through the panel. Doesn't connect on anything. But Junior will. He finds Sonic around mid, and then he gets the follow-up on Halzerk. Junior, 21 frags on the board. Matching up with Grimm's stat line and trying to deliver that 11th round for Voca. Grimm, speaking which, he's through a main. And he doesn't look up the tree. Oh my goodness. Snav and Dare have made it only George left on the server here. And it will be 11 for Voca. We are going the full 24 on Ancient.
That much is for certain, John. NRG cannot find the missing round. Or rounds, I should say plural. They need 2 more. Voca, I'm still a little confused as to why Halzerk dry swings into mid after losing Sonic like that. Perhaps thinking that he's caught a timing, but yeah.
Yeah, there was...
I mean, it's a very simple 1-2 understanding of where trade potential can come from, and I'm a little stunned that Halzerk was so gung-ho about taking that fight.
I think the timing was off by like a half a second or a second, right?
Yeah.
Like if he's there a little earlier, then I understand it. Or if not, you need a flashbang to be thrown by either yourself or your teammate in order to gain that space more effectively. That's how it goes down. Still enough money for NRG to get a proper buy up here, minus the op. Halzerk settling for the Galil instead. But Junior gets another opener. Oh my goodness. Junior looking to be the MVP of the map for Voca. Assuming they end up taking this, but this round is far from over. It takes more than an opener to gain victory, but it certainly increases your odds substantially. Darren Carson waiting over on the A site. They will toss a Mutil, and Sonic takes Dare's head off. That's a very vulnerable. Now reinforcements will come in. Carson trying to slip through Catacombs, gets one, maybe the second. Well, he slips away and allows Marky to do some more heavy hitting here for Voca. Grimm trying to get a couple back, does get one, but he's down to 16 HP. Planting the bomb is risky. Carson may try for a fight, but George is watching, protecting his bomb planter. Down to even numbers. George, a little bit of spam. They're both going to fade into Donut. Is there a smoke here? There isn't, but a flashbang is available. Maybe there's one on the ground somewhere. Marky and Snav find a nade at least. Won't yield a frag. Snav's up close, gets Grim. It's all up to George, and Snav does it all! 2K for him, and it will be a 12th for Voca.
They do get the bomb plant NRG, so it's not going to be the worst buy in the world, but Voca, this is your opportunity to send it to a 3rd map. It's not going to get much better than this. They fought tooth and nail. That fake plant, faking out that Opera and Junior, potentially giving away back in, and that post plant, Grimm doing so much on his own. And unfortunately, it's just not enough.
Man.
Hands on heads now for NRG. They knew how close they were to turning that one around.
Oh my goodness, what a play from Snav. While he's engaging, he loses Marky, so he was the only one left to prevent things from falling away in that round. That's a massive coup. And I think NRG's money won't be that great. I mean, the bomb plant will help for sure. And they got a little loss bonus now. So maybe they'll still be able to salvage Galil's and AK's mix, but still, you saw the body language. Morale, probably not too great, as they're thinking, oh no, can't lose Ancient again. It'll be a lot closer this time, of course. And Sonic wants overtime. He gets the opener. Carson finds the immediate trade. And now he'll move into lane. Snav joining him. Junior, flicks, but misses the shot, so a chance for NRG to isolate him on the side. He can't connect. They get close, and he finally does. Hits the hard one, but eventually Nitro will shut down Carson and Halzerk Jr. to make it a 3v2.
Oh.
What a spam from Marky! He's trying to end it right here. Doesn't want to see overtime. He spots Halzerk with the spam through the smoke as well. Halzerk's going to toss an incendiary towards the exit of Catacombs. Fake the plant. Oh, Donut could be exposed here, and Snav trying to slip in. Halsrick doesn't feel safe, and you can't blame him. No information, now knows that Snav is there. How are you going to plant this bomb? Because Marky's lurking in the shadows, Snav is as well. The same two guys who managed to clutch it out in the previous round. Halsrick does manage to find a window, and the bomb is down to dirt.
I don't know how they got away with that, but now pressure on Voca, kits are up. Still got a flash here, trying to meet together to find some sort of a crossfire, and they've made it into A. George still have not fired off a bullet. They don't know where he's gone off to, and that snake in the grass gives them a favorable advantage here. 1-on-2 needed for Marky, otherwise we're going to extra innings. Tap on the bomb, sussing out where George has gone off to. He knows that Halsrick can be in A main, but nobody's giving any sort of skin. Finally, George shows himself, but he dinks him in the process. There's no time. We're going into extra overtimes.
Wow, that is wild stuff coming through from NRG. At the very limit, they pull it off. Voca were so close to getting that clutch, but they overlooked George. I mean, there was a moment where both players weren't looking at each other, and they could have easily seen one another. So very crazy stuff, but George is the one to turn around first and take care of it. That gives them the 2v1, and then masterfully played after that point. They just used the time to their advantage and hunker down, don't allow any fights to be given over to Marky, and by the time he actually engages, well, there wouldn't have been any time for the defusal anyway. 12-12. We head to overtime. And not gonna waste any time getting into it. Round number 25, Snav's gonna flash out, and he does damage, but no kill. Grim is gonna shut him down before he can finish off George. Now this smoke covers off a potential advance for Voca down ramp, but they don't take that opportunity, or at least Marky doesn't. Sonic will get Junior as well. NRG riding high in round one of OT, and that is wicked from Sonic. Grim finds Carson just trying to rotate around from CT, potentially towards B, and Marky is on an island. He will get one. Grabs the AK off the ground, but, I mean, look, NRG will be able to plant this bomb without much of a fuss. Just don't give Marky fights. Okay, they keep giving Marky fights. It's okay still. 3 players remain up. And Marky eventually will have to pull this plug. You have to imagine.
Certainly. So it feels like the shackles have come off in a way for NRG now that they don't have to play up against the looming threat of map point and potentially that map 3. And they play this with such carefree attitudes. You see Grim's entry pathing, Sonic's entry pathing. It all just looks very, very well done.
You see there, Grim, that AK is very valuable on CT side, even in overtime. And he's trying to save it, but completely cut down by the AWP as he inches in towards mid. Huge thanks to Lorgar for providing the official tournament PCs for StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026 once we get to that main event. And one of these two teams are going to be using those PCs. NRG, 3 rounds away from ensuring it's them, and Voca, well, they want to push it to map number 3. That's the only way they'll find victory.
Paramount round in terms of the economy as well. Junior fully invested. Aggressive as ever on this B side. They've got a bit of a bait and switch setup in cave. Maybe it might not come to fruition just yet because Sonic is still looking for some mid space. And same goes for Grim on A main. One of these two players looking to maybe take that first contact. It'll be Grim as Sonic moves back over into B. So 50 seconds left on the clock as NRG look to silently maneuver into this B bomb site. They won't have to worry about the cross per se. have dealt with the lurk, and now it's going to have to be this B hit completely raw. Marky uses so much of his clip to spam through the edge of the wall that he goes down with nothing. Luckily, Junior's there, but he's only relegated to 1. George finds another before he hits the deck. We've still got ourselves a 2-on-2, but Sonic with a beautiful crouch spray takes out Carson. It leaves it all up to Dare in the 1-on-2.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic trading from both sides, but NRG just a step above this Voca squad. Dare, still got time. He's got the kit. Needs to isolate a fight. Does so effectively. Halsr gone. Halsr missed the shot. Dare spots out Sonic, but he can't do the job there. Another crouch spray from Sonic to the dome. And it is NRG with a 2-round lead, looking for the clean sweep in the first half of overtime.
And now the clean sweep opportunities is definitely looking much better at this point. When you think about the fact that these constant reinvestments, none of these guns being saved at any point in time, it makes this look very ugly, John. It's 2 MP9s, a 5.7. They have won with purchases like this before, but it just feels like NRG have just a ripe opportunity to complete this clean sweep.
Indeed they do. Voca are resilient. They can make these lighter buys work. But NRG just feel like they've hit their third gear now. 125 remains. NRG lurking in the shadows for now. Hovering around the B site, but also looking for this mid control. There's the smoke for Red Room. And they will just flood into mid. Grim going into A main. Will Junior spot him? He will? That's a big one to find. An upgrade for Junior to the AK. 5v4 for Voca. Flash thrown into Donut so Sonic can move in. And Junior's actually going to take an aggressive posture in towards A main while Carson throws that incendiary from CT to Donut. And you see that NRG still haven't made up their minds as to where they want to go, but this is looking pretty potent for Voca in terms of information and setup.
But Halsr gets that angle for free. I think he spotted that shoulder of Dare. He's just going to stay trained on this angle, and there you go. Big shot for him, and now the wrap into B is absolutely possible. Snav's got to come up big with his MP9. He's relegated to only 1. Now it's Marky's turn. 5-7 needed to find something of value, but he can't find anything. 3v2 man advantage. Halsr hits another op shot. It's just Junior in the 1-on-3, and I don't fancy his chances. Not when Halsr's hitting shots like these.
Oh my goodness. That is wonderfully done from NRG. Down in a 5v4. I think if Dare just holds the line, though, from the B site towards Red Room, then he gets at least 1 before he's traded out. Maybe even more than that, but because of the timing of him fading off, looking behind himself, readjusting, that allows Halsr to train it on that angle, hit the shot with very little hesitation, and then you move into B and just wipe out the rest of the forces. That is gorgeous stuff from NRG. And now they've got 3 opportunities at map and championship point.
This is it. This is the run back from NRG, who have battled and dug deep for so long in this map of Ancient. And now knocking on the door of joining the likes of Vitality, Furia, Na'Vi at that main event. What a statement it would be for this squad to show the grit and tenacity and the integration of the new Norwegian of Halsr. Halsr now looking towards lane. Gets hit by that smoke, gives over that sound cue, doesn't want to tussle with what's behind that smoke. Instead, it'll be Sonic to take those first 2. Boost up here for Voca, and Sonic gets dinked for just 16 health.
But Sonic's going to get the first. He's traded out, though. Dare finds it. 4v4. Tense moments for Voca, but Carson will give them a brief, potentially, man advantage. Unless the trade doesn't come through from Nitro. Oh, he's going to get past the angle. But Carson still gets found by George. Okay, man advantage is gone. It's turntables. NRG's got it now. 3v2 in their favor. Snav and Marky moving into a B site that is completely vacant. No one is there for now.
Yeah, that's the thing. NRG now scamper. Halsr clears out everything over on A. Great understanding that they can all walk in as 3 as they rotate all the way through. Marky and Snav have to be aware of the possibility of a rotation. They do catch Nitro as he moves in, they're aware of a second player, and George can't do it. He can't find the trade, and Halzerk is relegated to just one. I mean, you can tell George knew that was it. That was the kill that they needed to secure the main event, but not to be. Close but no cigar. They'll have 2 more chances at the cherry.
George wanted it so badly. Yeah, like you said. Could see it in his face. Oh my goodness. Voca barely staying alive in that round for a 13th, but we go again. They need to do it 2 more times to send us to double overtime. Money not looking that great for NRG, but George gets the first, Sonic the second. They're doing it so quickly, aggressively taking these fights. Junior, Darren, Markey still remain a 5v3 only 20 seconds into the round. George is hanging around here as well. He's looking for more, Paladin.
I don't mind it. I really don't. Hungry to redeem himself for the fumbled trade in the round previous. And desperately wants to hold on to mid-control for his team. Junior now looking in towards A. Same goes for Dare. Markey tasked with B duties. And none of these players are finding any sort of in. Markey will keep trying to inch in, and that molly could help with this close range angle, but it's still the other 2 angles that are still occupied by CT. He's shown face, he's given over a sound cue. He should be a dead man walking, and he is. Now it's just that A-prong. There'll be a boost up here for Dare. There could be a bomb plant, sure, but Halzerk can still have a sliver angle to potentially deny even more.
Halzerk gets the shot on Dare. It's all up to Junior in a 1v5 to stay alive here in this close qualifier. 23 seconds left. He can't do it. Halzerk hits the shot, and NRG are headed to StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026.
And, you know, it was not easy for NRG at any point in this competition. It feels like even in their first round of competition, they go up against Iowa Stormboard. They have to go to a nuke overtime with them. It's a 16-13 win. It comes out the back of a Halzerk 1-on-3. And this time around, again, it's Halzerk to take them over the edge. I mean, so many key, impactful moments from him. So much more confidence in him calling his own shots. And look what that does to NRG. They get rejuvenated, they get reignited, and now they're headed to that 500K main event in just a few short weeks.
Oh man, that was thrilling to watch, of course. And I mean, seeing Grim and Halzerk pop off like that is a really good sign for them. As you mentioned, heading into the main event, you see the opening kills. Junior was a monster on this map, so what a shame for him and the rest of Voca that they can't take it. But Voca have proven that they can go toe-to-toe with the best in North America, so we expect to continue seeing good things from them, but it will be NRG that are moving on to the main event.
Yeah, so that's it. We basically decided all of our teams that will be in attendance for this Star Series 2026, Fall 2026 event. It's been a long journey for NRG, and they'll be happy